Chapter 30, Air Brake Foundation Systems and Air Brake Circuits, Day 2, Video 3, Secondary Circuit. Okay, so we talked about the primary circuit, and then a secondary circuit is being mandated by FMVSS S121. The secondary circuit on a tractor or even a straight truck is generally the secondary brakes is the front steer axle brakes. Right, so we just got the secondary. It's just controlling the service brakes over or on the steer axle. And also, I mentioned a little bit before that the trailer brake application valve or the trailer spike valve, where we make the service brake application on the trailer independent of making any kind of brake application on the tractor, is that we source that air from the secondary side. So we'll call the secondary side sometimes the front brake circuit. So primary circuit, green air. Secondary circuit, like we're talking here, the front brakes, is red. Schematically, we always use red. We use red air hoses, so we'll call the secondary, we use red air in the secondary circuit. So when we operate normally, right, the secondary side of the treadle valve, we use air pressure from the primary side. Okay, it was a direct connection on the primary side through the treadle valve. There was a mechanical linkage or a mechanical connection to that primary piston in the foot valve. On the secondary side, we use that 5 or 10 pounds of pressure that we made with our brake application. That air pressure comes down and moves the secondary piston, right, or relay piston, to actuate the secondary brakes. So looking at our brake valve again here, the top half, so from here above is my primary side. There down is the secondary side. So here's my supply side. So supply air, the 120 pounds, 130 pounds always available here. And my delivery side, that whatever air pressure flows through goes out in the lines and acts on the secondary brake chambers. So again, same situation happens. Oh, so what we'd have right in here on the delivery side would be a channel or a port that would allow that 5 or 10 pounds of air pressure that we send out to the primary brakes to flow through and act on the top side of this piston. So here's the cutaway of the piston coming through here. That 5 or 10 pounds would act on this surface to move the secondary piston or the relay piston. So there is not a direct connection to the brake pedal on the secondary side. It is the air pressure flow through and moves that piston. Just like the same situation, foot brakes is your foot is off of the brake pedal, right? There's spring pressure moving the secondary piston up, and the delivery side is open to the exhaust port. So no pressure in the secondary circuit. It's always open to the exhaust. We make that brake application, and the 5 pounds that we've sent through the primary side flows down through, and now we've upset the balance because now we've got that 5 pounds of air pressure pushing this secondary piston down, right? We've got spring pressure trying to push it up, so now that 5 pounds is allowed to flow through the valve and out through the delivery side and out to the brake chambers until that resistance builds up and we've got the 5 pounds of pressure here and the spring pressure pushing up equals the 5 pounds that's been pushing the piston down. The piston shuttles to a hold state, so no more air pressure coming in. We trap that air pressure that's out in the system. We've closed the exhaust port, and now we hold that 5 pounds of pressure out in the secondary brakes. Again, we push the pedal down more. We increase the air pressure up to 10 pounds now, and that 10 pounds actuates, moves the piston down. We upset the spring balance, and the piston moves down, allows that air pressure to flow through. We increase the brakes until that pressure, again, equalizes with the pressure pushing the piston up, and the spring pushing up sends it back to the hold state, and now we trap that 10 pounds of pressure on the brake system. We'll release the brakes. That pressure in our primary side goes away because it's opened up to the exhaust. The piston moves up because we've got air pressure and spring pressure pushing that piston up, and opens it up to the exhaust port. And now the delivery side opens up the exhaust, and we release the brakes. So the secondary acts using air pressure from the primary side. If we have a failure in the air system of our primary side, right? So there is no air pressure to actuate the primary brakes, and there's no air pressure to push down on the primary piston, right? What will happen is your pedal will move down further. The primary piston will shuttle down more until we make a direct connection. We've got some pins right here. It will shuttle down, and we'll have more movement, more pedal movement until those pins touch, and then it will physically start to move the secondary piston, and it'll work just in the same manner of going into hold state or going into exhaust state, just like on our primary piston. So that's kind of a backup to the secondary system if we have a primary system failure and there's not the air pressure to move that secondary piston.